Chris, you look like you start the game really strong and really positive, and sort of in about a half-hour window, sort of the game sort of got taken out of your grasp. How did you sort of see that?
Yeah, there was a patch there through the middle of the game. Obviously, early in the third quarter was, I thought, a bigger problem than the last part of the second quarter. But other than that patch, thought we gave ourselves more than enough chances to win the game. It was the disappointing part was just some of the fundamental errors that we made, and there are some things that you can't do against Collingwood that we did that gave them easy goals, and it's just hard work because. And again, even in the last quarter, I think the entries were 19-5 or something similar, and we got the shots, and guys you'd normally expect to knock them over missed, and so they're always frustrating nights when you're playing good teams and you feel like you had enough chances to win the game.
Those errors you talk about, there were two pretty big ones in the last quarter. I think the Isaac Smith kick and the Saba mark drop, those two of the more glaring ones that you sort of, because you guys were in the game at that stage. Yeah,
well and truly. Yeah, I mean there were others as well. It's a bit frustrating, and we try not to be a coaching group that focuses too much on skill errors, but it wasn't just skill that hurt us tonight. There was some method in particular at the fall of the ball where they were just better than us. And I don't think they were better than us because they just beat us in contests. I thought they just positioned themselves better, and the ball bounced out of our forward 50 much more and much quicker than it normally does.
What do you think was the main issue in the second and third quarters when they kicked the 7 in a row?
Oh, well, they played well for parts there. There were some good individual efforts that are hard to stop, but I thought there was some system breakdowns for us as well, particularly in the third quarter where I thought Reece Stanley was so good in the first half, really dominant. He was a bit sore in the second half, and even this is not the reason, but it's amazing when things aren't going your way. The first bounce of the second half goes 10 metres their way, and Reece was stuck under it, and a goal in the first 10 seconds of the quarter sort of got them going a little bit. So I didn't think that there was a strong pattern other than some of the things I've already talked about. But there were some things in terms of the way we like to set up the game that we just got wrong through that period. And then when we got our chances, we just turned the ball over.
Any concerns with Reece going forward then?
Yeah, he'll need to be assessed. So he came off late and didn't go back on. So he and Rowan are probably the two, and I think the only two that we'll need to keep an eye on.
What's Stanley done? What's he done?
Rowan? So he's hip, sort of groin.
Yeah, but Stanley.
Okay, I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Yeah.
Hip groin as well.
Where does it leave you, Chris? I mean, there's still 2 rounds to play and you're just outside the 8. Do you still think that you can play finals with the football you're playing at the moment?
With the football we're playing?
Yeah.
Yep, I do. I think we can play better, no doubt about that. But yeah, 2 games to go. Do I think we can win them? Yeah. What do you think?
What do you make of Jeremy Cameron's goal in the last quarter outside the boundary? Do you have an issue with that?
Yeah, I actually didn't see it, hand on heart, but people that know the game well say that it wasn't outside the boundary. What did you think? Did you watch the replay?
Last quarter when Brad Close handballed him, but he was clearly outside the boundary.
Was the ball outside the boundary? Yeah. Okay, you must have a different view to some of the other people that know the game well that said it wasn't. I haven't looked at it, but...
The third quarter one was...
You seem confident.
Yeah. I think the third quarter one could have been won, but I think the one in the final quarter was pretty conclusive. Anyway. The ball, yeah.
Do you want me to talk about umpires?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I just wanted to, speaking of Cameron, he combined with 11 goals with Henry, and if you were told that before the game, that you're going to get 11 goals from those, so you'd be pretty confident that a win would be coming away, I would have thought.
Yeah, as I said, I thought we had our chances, but Jeremy kicked 7. It felt like he could have kicked 12. He missed some shots that, he kicks before he started warming up at training. Look, it's a bit of a different look for us up there. We were actually bit excited to see what it looked like with Jack Henry playing next to Ollie and Jeremy as well, and that wasn't to be. But yeah, he was lively, and yeah, Jeremy was, as I said, I thought he was a 7-4. Even that doesn't reflect the dominance that I thought that he had and could have had on the game.
How did you view Ollie's game, considering he was copping boos left, right, and centre every time he touched it, and obviously with a good performance the week before as well?
Yeah, he's going well. Yeah, like if you're getting booed, like it reminds me like Gary Abler got booed once, and like the 40th time he got the ball, it's kind of like maybe you should give it a rest. I think it's a good thing personally. You want to be the sort of player the opposition don't want to play against, and I get that's not the reason that they're booing Ollie, but yeah, a bit juvenile for me.
How close was Tom Hawkins to getting up this week, and do you expect him to be available next week?
Yeah, pretty close. Like, yeah, I think we made the call relatively early that he wouldn't play, so it wasn't a matter of sort of pushing him to the line. So yeah, we've got a slightly longer week this week, an 8-day break. So to be perfectly honest with you, I'm a little bit out of the loop there as to exactly where he is, but yeah, my sense is that he'll be thereabouts.
What gives you the confidence that you can turn around and make the finals, and how much of it is from what the team did last year?
No, I just think it's a really logical answer to say we've got 2 games to go, and we think we can play well enough to beat any team in the comp when we play our best. So it's kind of like, well, what would be the other answer? We're just not going well enough. Is that what you want to hear? We just don't think we're going well enough, so we'll throw the towel in. Do you tell me what you're after, and I'll give it to you?
I'm not after anything other than what your honest answer is.
Yeah, so I'll repeat it. I think that we can play well enough to win the last 2 games and play in the finals, but I don't know. I'm an optimist, so that could be misplaced, but no, not at this stage.
I guess on that similar topic, how frustrating has it been? Obviously you won the flag last year, was fantastic, and just haven't seemed to. You find yourself in this situation so deep into the season. Has it just been one of those is frustration the overriding emotion, I guess?
I think it will be when we reflect a little bit more, because the reality for us is we just can't spend too much time reviewing what the season has been like. But again, it can sort of hold 2 thoughts in your head at the same time. So we've got to look forward, and that's what we want our players doing. But yeah, to your point, it does feel like we've had periods this year where we've got it back up and going, and some of the guys that have been sore or missed a lot of footy looked like they were, close to playing their best footy, and then something went wrong again. It has felt a little sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and in a really tight comp, that's not good enough. But I think, like even tonight, I just didn't think we played well, and could have won the game. And some of the things that we're not doing are really easy to turn around. I don't think they're fundamental or sort of chronic issues that are going to take a long pre-season to overcome. And we do have some guys. I think Jeremy and Dangerfield were probably good examples tonight. It's like we just haven't quite seen them in even moving that way for long enough this year, but they did tonight, and they can next week and the week after and the week after.
That was one of Danger's best games of the year, and what did you like most about his performance tonight? Yeah,
I just, if you really simplify what sort of you want to see from Pat, is that breakaway speed and his strength in the contest, and I thought both of those things really stood out tonight. I thought he was the player when we were a little bit down that looked like he could really sort of break the game open for us, and he's had his issues this year, but he's kept fighting through. But we need more from him than just sort of grinding away. We want to see that breakaway speed, and it was really exciting for us that it looked like he had that tonight. So that's a good sign for the next fortnight.
And Cam Guthrie as well. Do you expect him to return in the VFL next week?
Yeah. Well, we're thinking through a few options with Cam. I think it's likely that he'll play footy at some level. It's been a long layoff, but as we tend to do with guys who have had a lot of time out of the game, especially with a foot injury that didn't allow for much running early in the piece, he's trained for a little bit longer rather than getting back into games a bit quicker. So that might give us the option to push him a little bit harder this week. Exactly what that means, I'm not quite sure.
Could you play him as a sub next week?
Yeah, so that's one of the things we're thinking through, like maybe, but there are risks associated with that as well. So and then, like, even talking about it now could sort of sound like we're a bit desperate that we're just going to throw him back in the team. I'm genuinely not feeling that way. We just got to find a way to play our best, quarter by quarter. Look, I don't think we could even expect. Well, we certainly wouldn't expect him to come in and sort of fix any of our problems. It would have been nice to have him for the whole year, but again, we've said it a few weeks in a row. I think I was pleased with Tanner Bruin tonight, and at the start of the year, looked like it was hard to get him enough midfield time. So whatever happens from here, I think that's been a positive for us. Thanks.